Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for a link to my Amazon store where I've compiled some of the very best items available, including some of my own personal recommendations. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Artisan Cutlery Biome Slipjoint. This is a really compelling little slip joint. So guys, I don't review a lot of, old school slip joints in this channel. I personally really like modern slip joints, and so this is right up my alley. This was sent to me by Artisan Cutlery. You can check out their Instagram and their website there. The contact that consistently speak with on Instagram is really nice, and they've been really wonderful to work with. So thank you so much, Artisan Cutlery, for sending this. Full disclosure, they did send this and just let me keep it, so I just wanted to let you guys know that that's where this came from. Thank you so much to my generous patrons for supporting me right now. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, there's of course a link down in the description. Get your hands on some of these stickers and other exclusive benefits. The support would mean the world to me. So let's go ahead and get a measurement on this guy. This is not a big knife. This is a very small knife. Coming in at about, it's not super small. It's about 6.6 inches overall. Blade length coming in at under 3 inches. So that's awesome. For legality reasons, this is not a locking knife, and it is under 3 inches. So this is going to be a knife that a lot of different people can enjoy. About 2.8 inches on the blade, and about 2.75 inches on the cutting edge. So that's great. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Up against the Ontario Rat Model 1. Rat 1 is coming in at 8.6 inches overall. So you can see there, not a big knife. Some people are going to really like that. How about up against the Spyderco PM2? Spyderco PM2 coming in at 8.3 inches overall. And you can see exactly how much more beautiful. I understand that this is a polarizing color of G10, the natural or the JG10. I really like this color. And when I ordered the custom scales for my PM2, I thought that this would be more like this. This is kind of gross. This looks a lot better. So if you don't like if you don't like this color, don't worry. They do come in other colors. But by the way, I'll say this. At the time of this video, guys, I don't think that I can provide a link for this. If I can, then I will. I think you can only get them on the Artisan Cutlery website as of right now. And I pre-record way in advance, so this was recorded long before you're seeing it. Excuse me. Up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue. Ritter Hogue coming in at 8 inches overall. And last but not least, the Spyderco Para 3. Spyderco Para 3 is coming in at 7.25 inches overall. You know what? Let's do one more. Since this is such a small knife and it is a slip joint, let's put it up against the Victorinox Cadet. The Victorinox Cadet is a much smaller, but much more common, I think, multi-tool or slip joint folding knife, coming in at what do these come in at? 5.75 inches overall. So there it is up against the Victorinox Cadet. How's the action on this guy? Well, it's a slip joint. So this little guy is running on, I believe it's got little bronze washers in there, but you know what? I can't see. Oh, yeah, you can. Little phosphor bronze washers, so that's great. This has a nice mid-stop and a powerful snap. That's what I like to feel. I'm not nearly as particular with my slip joints. Even if they don't have a mid-stop, it's not that big of a deal to me. But I will say this. When they do have a solid snap into place, right here, you can see that. It's wanting to pull itself right back into place, right about there. That's nice. And then here, nice mid-stop. A little bit of movement, not really play. Like if I let it sit and I just pull on it, there's no play. I have to actually really pull on it to get it to play. And then there's a nice snap back into place. So I suppose for a slip joint, that's perfect. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. Let's talk about carry profile. This is not much in terms of overall material here. You can see that it is very thin up against the Spyderco PM2 and Para 3. Well, Para 3 for thickness. But up against these two knives that have awkward carry profiles that nobody ever seems to complain about, you can see there that this is basically no contest. This item is simply substantially easier to carry in terms of how much room in the pocket it takes up. This is made out of G10, and the steel, real quick, we'll show you guys, is not D2. It is 12C27N, which is the Sandvik steel that is actually made for folding knives. And I know that sounds crazy to some people, but believe it or not, that's something that's kind of rare in the folding knife world. Most steels have a primary application that is not folding knives. Very few steels are actually made for pocket knives, and this is one of them. I think Kershaw really likes to use it. It's a good steel, okay edge retention, okay toughness, easy to sharpen, right? Makes a good folding knife steel. Blade stock thickness on this guy, not thick. Not thick at all. Let's measure it here real quick. Yeah, about 90 thousandths. So you can imagine it does get pretty darn thin behind the edge. We'll talk about that here in a sec. Let me zero this scale out real quick. And weight on this guy coming in at 1.41 ounces, which is great. And to be expected, considering it's just G10 and looks like there's probably a little steel plate that the washers run on, and then you have the, the lock back here, or I guess the spine of the slip joint. That's really the only steel besides the blade. So there's not really a lot that can weigh this knife down, and that's great. Let's go ahead and do the hardware check. Get out my handy dandy WIA bit selector and WIA magnetic driver, 2 items that are very, very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them down in the Amazon store that I referenced at the beginning of every video. Just pull up in the store and look for knife maintenance. I'm going to guess, like most knives these days, the pivot is T8. It is. Let's point out that this has a pivot. This is part of the reason why I really like modern slip joints, because you can actually take them apart. I understand the draw to classic slip joints or classic knives in general, being kind of just a relic of the past and something that's interesting. A lot of times there's a different process that goes into those that makes them more interesting in and of themselves, but I just want to be able to get into my knife. So I really appreciate that I can do that here. That's really cool. And then, unfortunately but understandably, I believe the handle screws are going to be T6. Go ahead and get in there real quick and test that out. Yeah, T6. And you can see we've got the Chicago screws, or just the opposing heads on the other side. So there's really only 6 fasteners that you'd have to interact with. I don't like T6. They can strip. The bits can strip. Blah, blah, blah. It's never a deal breaker. What is nice about this is that it's only got 3 things to undo, and you can actually get into it. So truthfully, in this case, I can really overlook the T6. It's never, the T6 screws is never something where I'm like, don't buy this, it's got T6, right? In this case, yeah, I'm totally okay with it. You can get into the knife. It's really easy to take apart. No big deal. That's great. All right, did we get over everything? I think so. So we have contoured G10 scales. And that's awesome. Nice, thin, contoured G10 scales. The ergonomics on this guy, for it being so small, you really can get a full purchase. I wear an XL glove, which means I have ever so slightly larger than normal hands. I don't understand the whole, they have medium-sized work gloves and they have large work gloves, and then they have XL work gloves. I wear an XL work glove, but I know for a fact my hands are not XL. So those of you who are constantly buying work gloves, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Glove sizes make no sense. But yeah, for my slightly larger than normal hands, I can get my hands all the way around this, and that's great. Most of the time, I'm going to be holding it like this. Nice little area right here for your index finger to engage. It's very easy, very comfortable to hang on to. It's not much of an object, but there are enough, ergonomic lines, or the lines are in the right place to really feel secure with this knife. And let's be honest here, guys. You're not going to be using this for hard use. This is a simple EDC knife. You're going to be using it for very simple tasks, probably just opening boxes, cutting very simple, not tough media, anything like that. And it's doing that exactly right. There is no jimping up here, but I think that makes sense on a slip joint, because why would you put pressure on the spine? You're just going to cause it to, so you're going to want to hold it like this, and it's comfortable like that. You can brace with 3 fingers, and there's even a little spot back here for your pinky to rest. Dylan Mallory, nice, man. That's cool. I talk with Dylan on Instagram a lot. Super nice guy, but little things like this, right? He understands people want to go index and then these 2 fingers, and then to get that engagement right here where you're resting on the G10, right on the part of the blade where if you need to bear down, you can. And there's a nice little spot right there for your pinky. I noticed, Dylan. That's great. I really like that, because I get bent out of shape when I'm forced to brace on the knife with 3 fingers. And you're not forced to do that here unless you have massive hands. If you have massive hands, yeah, probably. My dad has the big baseball mitt hands, and there's no way, right? This might be a 2-finger knife for him, but for me and most people, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's great. Wonderful. I love the contouring too. They managed to get it contoured without it adding excess thickness, which is oftentimes the case with a knife that's contoured. Nah, wonderful. Just wonderful. Fit and finish on the handle scales is great. Let's take a look at this blade. The Artisan Cutlery logo on the other side. It has, unfortunately, the typical Artisan Cutlery paragraph, serial number, blah, 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 Swedish Sandvik 12C27N. Love Dylan Mallory's logo, by the way. Really cool. And it says China. Dylan's logo and the steel, I could do with just those two things and nothing else, but that's Artisan. That's what Artisan does, so no big deal. What I have come to very much appreciate is Artisan Cutlery and CJRB, which is the same company, the tumbling finish that they do on their blades. This is a very inexpensive knife, guys. Very inexpensive. And I really like to see the tumbled finish on inexpensive knives because I see too much satin. Every budget knife that's out there is in satin, and it drives me crazy. And, you know, number one, it's too plentiful. It's all over the place. Number two, a lot of times edges like this up here are not completely knocked down. Sorry, I guess I'm spitting on the knife. Are not completely knocked down on a satin blade on this because it's tumbled. It's totally knocked down. Number three, it hides scratches better. That's great. I imagine there is an additional cost. Maybe the tumbling is more expensive than a satin blade, so that if that's the case, it's even more impressive. If it's not, whatever. But yeah, it's just really impressive to me. This knife does have a little nail nick. It's very easy to engage and just pull the knife out. This is not a knife you're going to be manipulating with one hand. Just don't, I mean, if you can, good for you, but I wouldn't try it. You're going to cut yourself. The blade gets very thin, but not so crazy at the end. You got a needle-like tip. It's not a tip you're going to want to be digging around and stuff, right? But it's going to do a good job. So this does get nice and thin behind the edge, and that is great. It's going to be a nice little performance-oriented blade. Unfortunately, this knife came to me brand new with a little nick or roll in the edge. Now, let me be very clear about this. I have handled a lot of Artisan Cutlery and CJRB knives. You can go back on my channel and you can see. I have never had an issue with an edge. Every now and then from any maker, I have had knives sent to me with nicks or rolls in the edge before. And most of the time, and you know, unless it's like going to be a user, most of the time I'm like, can you, if it's a really, really expensive knife, I'll send it back and go, can you send me one without a roll, most of the time most of my knives get used. So it's not that big of a deal. Just use it and sharpen it out, whatever. That is frustrating to get a new knife with a roll in it. So that's never good. But in this case, this is the very first time that I've ever had a brand new Artisan Cutlery or CJRB come with an imperfection in the edge. So I want to be honest with you guys, let you know that it's there, and it did come brand new from CJRB. But at the same time, I want to make perfectly clear that this is probably not something that's normal for CJRB. It's not something that you should expect any more than any other company, right? There's always a possibility that your edge is going to come with a slight imperfection, especially on a budget knife, right? Nobody likes to see it. Even on budget knives, I don't like to see imperfections in the edge. I don't like to feel blade play, off-center blades, stuff like that, right? So it is what it is. I wouldn't put too much stock into it, but it is a little bit frustrating. Outside of that, though, the edge is great. The lines are nice and even on both sides, right? It's one of those things where you're going to have to, if that happens, you're either going to have to send it back or sharpen it out. All the edges right here, all the way around, are nicely knocked down or knocked down enough, which is great. We've got the, I'll show you guys the interaction there on the block, or where it contacts the spine here, the steel spine. Yeah, that's great. It's flush. It's nice and even. It's good contact. No wonkiness or anything like that. Thank you so much for doing the lanyard area like this. I'm not sure, I guess on this knife there's more justification for a lanyard because there's no pocket clip, or better yet, one of those little keychain rings that has the suspension clips that you can buy for you can buy cheap ones for like $2. Honestly, my suggestion is pay $10 for the titanium ones because they're way better. But yeah, there's a little ring there. So if you want to put it on your keys, or you want to make a little lanyard, or you want to put a suspension clip on it, yeah, it's in the right place. It doesn't really matter where it is on this knife because there's no pocket clip, but I think for aesthetic reasons, that was a really good choice. Like I said, on the other side, you just have the opposing screws, the Chicago screws, whatever. I don't know if this is a captive pivot or not, I mean, it looks nice, and it seems like it's going to be really easy to disengage, or just turn the head and pull it back out. We do have there's some piece of debris on the end there. We do have a perfectly centered blade, which is nice to see on a budget knife. I'm really happy with that. And also, is it really salt? Yeah, there's no blade play left or right, guys. I mean, obviously there's going to be movement up and down because it's a slip joint, but nothing in excess, nothing that feels like it's out of place or the tolerances are bad or anything like that. Yeah, that's really impressive. This is a nice, solid little slip joint, and it's really classy looking. Really classy. And this, to me, this says Dylan Mallory. I mean, like, it's always nice when you can pick out a maker's work amidst a bunch of other things. And obviously it depends on whether or not you have experienced or at least seen his other work. But yeah, this looks like Dylan Mallory. It doesn't, I mean, it didn't surprise me that much to see his logo on the other side. And I've been impressed with everything that Dylan has done except for the small RKO. And it was because of the discomfort with the area to put my fingers, right? The large RKO was great. The small one I didn't like so much, but literally everything else that I've experienced that Dylan Mallory designed has just been wonderful. And this is more the same. So here's the cherry on top of this, guys. On Artisan Cutlery's website, I think this comes in at like 40 bucks, maybe 44. I don't know. But once this hits retailers, it feels like something that will undoubtedly be even less. So whatever. Either way, can I recommend this knife? Yeah. I mean, come on. This is a great little knife. Whether it is your primary EDC, it is your backup knife to your primary EDC so that guy at work that's asking for a knife to open his tin can of tuna, right? Not saying that this is a good tool for that either, but you know, no matter what setting you're using, in fact, don't do that because this is a slip joint, right? Tell that person, please don't open your can of tuna with a slip joint. Either way, whatever the purpose is for this knife, this is a wonderful knife and I can recommend it 10 times over. This is super cool. And you can get it in a wide variety of different colors. If you like just the black and the tumbled, which I know Dylan himself, I've seen his Instagram posts. He's a big fan of just a plain black G10 scale and a tumbled blade, which is probably what I would choose too. But all the different forms that this comes in are just great. And I'm aside from the little nick, the little roll, you know, that sucks, but you know, that happens sometimes. Aside from that, yeah, I can definitely still recommend this knife. So this knife is going to go on my most recommended knives playlist, and it's also going to go on my cheap knives that I like playlist. I think that's everything, guys. This was it's a little bit shorter than normal, but yeah, fantastic offering from Artisan Cutlery. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.